Hey everybody, and welcome back to Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. I'm Jaculator Stone Lake Jackson, and this one is another one we got from over on TikTok. Thank you very much to shout out user Stephanid, if I'm pronouncing that right. Stephan ID. I don't know. You're very cool. You gave us this recipe. Not much of measurement, so this is going to be fun. We're going to have to guesswork it, but it's spoon burgers. This is going to be great. Before we get into it, be sure to like, share, subscribe to all the YouTube stuff, ring the bell, get notifications when we do this. Check the link down the bottom for our doobly-doo, in our doobly-doo for our merch. I've said this so much, my brain's starting to melt together. We have aprons, we got spoons, spatulas, flippers, fake hands, pot holders, the whole schmear. It's down there. We're a small business. We very much appreciate it. And let's get into the food. I'm guessing at everything we're doing today, so this will be fun. All right, so we're going to need at least a pound of burger. Like, I got the stuff from the butcher's, so it's relatively cheap, but just 1 pound of anything's fine. I'm going to use 2 tomatoes, but only half an onion, and then half of my lettuce. Now, I'm just going to use that. That's all we're supposed to need with the mayo. We're going to mix that together and put it on bread. So that's it. We're going to make a big salad out of that, cook that, stretch that meat out, and do that good. Now, get you some bread. You can use any kind of bread if you want. I got some fancy buns, just because everything else is so cheap. It's got the sesame seeds on it. Makes it look fancy, but yeah, you can use any kind of bread. Doesn't have to be round, doesn't have to be square. Like, just bread's fine. Like, you can slice bread if you feel like it. Whatever. That's all you're going to need now. You can season it with whatever you want. Salt, pepper, again, to your own taste. You can use some Slap Your Mama. Any kind of seasoned salt would work as well, too. Again, not required, but it's Texas, so we like throwing that stuff in our food so we can say we're better than Louisiana. Garlic powder, lemon pepper is always really good on like cheap burger stuff. Makes it give it a better taste than just straight grease burger. Hot sauce is great. I would always say use Truff. This is not an ad. I am not sponsored, but man, I think I found this at like a local shop or something. But it is so good. So yeah, we're gonna take and wash our veg first because we're gonna have to mix it in with this. So always clean your fruit and veg first. Clean it all, like lettuce, tomato, yeah. So once you get that nice and scrubbed, you're going to need a decent sized bowl, something to mix this in. It doesn't have to be as big as this. It's just, that's what I had. So you just need something to toss it all together. Now, lettuce, be sure to wash all this because that dirt can sit down in those leaves. Get you a big sharp knife. Shout out to Andy. I think he was behind the camera when I was doing this. Just cut it right in half, put the other part in a plastic bag, put it away. Now this, you want to cut off that little nubbin where it grew into the ground, where the roots went. Pull that loose, and then get you a knife and cut it just like you're doing anything else. You can use scissors and use a chopped lettuce stuff. Now, I want this as small as possible, so I'm going to cut it one way, then turn it and go the other way. I don't know if that's considered dicing, if it's a leafed vegetable. Leaved. No, leaved is if you just run off without it. Leafed. That's got to be the term. But you go ahead and break it down and get little pieces here. Because you're going to mix it together. You want big, long strings of it. It'll hang off and be bad. Onion. Again, onion can be very overpowering. I love the flavor, but again, I'm only going to use half instead of one whole red one, like I was told in the thing. Put it back together, slice it one way, slice it the other, get a decent dice to it. There are some like machines and stuff that'll do that, and I want to try those out for like, you know, Christmas time. Like, as seen on TV, I slopped, I chopped, I diced, I slapped, I whatever. Tomatoes, same thing. Now, I did 2 of these because these were relatively small. If you get a big one, that's fine. And again, if any of these things you don't feel up to putting in your own food, you don't have to eat it. Like, if you don't like tomatoes, don't add tomatoes to this thing. Just to dice, just cut it one way, cut it back the other way, put it in here, kind of toss it around a little bit. Whoop, now we got to cook our burger. Now, I guess you could do both of those at the same time. I just have limited space in my little kitchen, so I apologize. So break up your vegetables a little bit. Get you a skillet, put it on medium high, and let that warm up a little bit, okay? Careful, that'll get hot, and I'm an idiot, so don't trust that at all. Once it gets decently warm, you don't have to wait too long. Go ahead and put your burger in there. It always helps that it's defrosted. If it's not, it'll take a little bit longer, but just go ahead and break it all down to all the meat gets on the metal so it doesn't pile up, it doesn't cook. Just do it low and slow. Like I said, medium low. You don't have to really do it at medium high because you don't want it too hot and bouncing all over the place. Just keep stirring until it all turns gray, then it all turns brown. Keep breaking it up with your spoon, spatula, flipper, whatever you have handy, and just break it down. This is what you want. This is what it's going to start looking like. Right, get in here and it's nice and brown. Now, if you use the cheap stuff like I do, usually it's like a 73% meat. The rest is, you know, I don't know if it's like sawdust and oil, but once you get a lot of that oil out there, you're welcome to take it and dump it out. I did just because I don't like a lot of grease in there, and I don't like my apartment, so I don't mind if the pipes clog. So I just pour it in there. Anybody else find a fence line or something and kill the bushes that live along it. It'll all your animals will love you because all that stuff won't grow up with you. Now, while it's sitting here on this last edge of this brownie, this is when you season it. Put whatever you want into it. Like I put a little garlic powder, lemon pepper, regular pepper, and a little bit of salt. A little bit, not a lot. You can add hot sauce and stuff later. I wouldn't suggest cooking with it, usually because the smell of it and the vinegar in it overpowers pretty much anything else that you're cooking it with once you heat it up. So once this gets nice and browned, broken down, turn off your heat, set it aside. Right? Now don't put your cooking thing on the thing you just pulled the meat off of, because that stovetop's going to be hot. So let that cool off. That's what I did. I'm sorry. So just go ahead and put that meat right on top of that salad that you mixed in, right? Scrape it all off, get all the little bits out of it. I'd be sure to show that part just to annoy Jack because he hates the noise. So once it gets in here, you give it a little toss, but then you got to mix some mayo with it. Now, the mayo is what I really didn't have a good measurement on. So I started with about half a cup and mixed it in. It helps if you don't use one big glob, if you do it by like half cups. I think I ended up using about a cup and a half all total. Now it depends on A, how much mayo you have, B, how much you like mayo, and C, if, you know, how sloppy you want your sandwich there. So I was just pulling out on this with my spatula and slowly turning it in here, folding it, I guess is how the fancy people say. So just give it a nice swift turn here. What this is doing is basically taking that hamburger, getting the flavor and the meat and the lettuce and everything stretched. Oh, yeah, be sure to get you a spatula and get it out of your spoon there. It's going to take a little while. Now keep your spoon. We're going to show why we need that in our plating in a little bit. But yeah. But it stretches it in here. So every bite tastes like any regular burger. It's got your lettuce, it's got your tomato, your onion, your burger, all in that same bite. But it's stretching that meat out. So if you got a little bit of meat and you need to feed more than 4 or 5 people, it was good for like 8 burgers, I think is how much this was, easily. And that's really piling them high because I'm a fat dude. So just keep rolling it in until it gets to that consistency you like. I liked it where it was wet and it was all over it, but it wasn't swimming in it. So like I said, I think it was a cup and a half all total what I used. I've seen some online after I asked about it, how they do this. Now you get your spoon, just take 1 spoonful, whoop, put it on your bread, your bun, whatever you're using, kind of get whatever you can on there. Whatever falls in your hand, that's fair game. As cooked, that's your right to eat that part. Cover it, and bam, spoon burger. That's ready. Now, because I'm picky about my stuff, I went and did a layer of pickles on one. Now, I guess you could mix the pickles or cut up a bunch of pickles, I'm looking for pickles, or relish, and just throw it in there with the rest of that. But because it's cold, and if people don't like pickles, you know, so I just do it myself, and I would always be worried that I wouldn't get enough pickle on my burger. I always like extra pickle on stuff. So, yeah, I just put extra pickle in it, and bam, spoon burgers. Again, shout out. Thank you very much for giving us this recipe over on TikTok, where I throw some extra stuff out there. But this was amazing. It was relatively easy to cook. It stretched that burger way past our budget. So our budget was anything less than $10. The most expensive part was the burger, and I got it at the local chop shop. So it was like $1.50 or something, and the rest is all vegetables that are usually very, very cheap. Your mayo might stretch a little bit, and depending on how much you use, well under our budget. Spread it, like I said, I made 6 to 8 burgers, and if you just get 1 per, you know, put a bag of chips next to it because your budget's way, under budget. This is perfect. This is great for a big group of people, or I guess you can do it as meal planning. I wouldn't put it on the bread until the day you're using it or whatever. It stores really well. So yeah, this is great for like meal prep. It's good for like an outing if you just want to eat with your friends in the backyard and think like it's a picnic but you broke. This is the way to do it. You should totally try this out. Holy crap, there it is. And there you have it, folks. It came out great. Like I said, we had to kind of guess at it in the beginning, but this is amazing. This is actually really good. I like this. It stretches that meat a lot. If you do this, you want to do it differently, want to see us do it differently, let us know. Put it down in the comments, man. That's what it's there for. My head's starting to overheat. It's hot in the kitchen. Who knew? So, put it down in the comments. Let us know. You can also find us on social media. You can find us on Facebook, Pinterest, Patreon. You can find us on all those at Living Between Paychecks Kitchen. You can also find us at Instagram at Living Between. You can find me over on TikTok under my name, Osway Nerdy. That's where we got this recipe. Thank you very much. Shout out to you again. We very much appreciate it. And I will see y'all next time. I'm going to go eat some more of these and try to cool off. I am warm.